Hello, my name is Dr. Mary Segars, and I am the founder and the CEO of Segars Consulting Group. That is the parent company for Awesome Publishing Company as well as New Direction Coaching.
Hello and welcome to Obehi Podcast. I'm your host, Obehi A14, and I strongly believe that everyone has a story to share. Now let's get started into this episode.
I am a leadership and transformational coach, and I enjoy helping people reach their full potential. I'm also a book coach because I've helped over 40 authors author their books and allow them to share their story and to speak their truth. So overall, I enjoy people. I enjoy working with people so they can obtain their goals and to live to their full potential.
Thank you so much for that. I really enjoyed that short presentation there, Mary. That is so important. All right, so I am in Italy talking to you. I'm really very happy to be able to talk to you. This is actually one of the beautiful things about this time is that we're able to connect from wherever we are. And for us in this podcast, we are very happy to connect with other African diaspora because it's dedicated to African diaspora, where we share our story, where we learn from each other, where we put out the best of us out there so that we can learn and grow and then build our communities. So, of course, in all of these is the question of leadership, and that is what we are talking about today. But before we get there just now, I'm going to try to know you better because as you will see written somewhere, everyone has a story to tell. Now, this is your time.
Okay. I took an early retirement back in 2008 and I was 55 years old. And so I knew retirement wasn't for me. I still had a lot to offer to the world. And so that's when I started my business. And as you would have it, I discovered I had a medical challenge. I was in a car accident. I was stopped at a stop sign and someone came right in and just hit me right in the back, jerked my glasses off. I mean, my car was damaged. And then when I went to the emergency, I found out that they found a nodular on my thyroid. And so after they did the examination, they said it looked suspicious, about a 1-inch growth on my thyroid. And turned out it was second stage thyroid cancer. Of course, that was alarming. It was very upsetting, but I sought out the information from the surgeons. I did my research. I made sure that what was going to be done wouldn't affect my voice because I am a speaker as well. And so after much consideration and prayer, I went ahead and had the surgery done. And he explained to me that it was just on the right side, but if it looks like it's growing to the other side, they will remove the entire thyroid. And so I was able to have the thyroid removed completely. I am cancer free, so that's a good thing. My voice is a little deeper, but my husband said he likes it deep and it sounds sexy to him. So that's all that matters. So I said that life will sometimes throw you some lemons. So what you going to do with it? You're going to make lemonade or you're going to pout about it. So I was able to take the high road and allow myself to still enjoy life, to have the power of my voice, to speak to millions of folks, because what I have to say, I know will change and impact lives. So things happen in life. And I always say it's not the end of the world. Adapt, pivot, readjust, and keep it moving. Because if you have a positive outlook on things, that will make you move forward and not always looking back in the rearview mirror. Because we got to do things, we got to move forward and with that positive mindset.
That's beautiful. I like what you said there that if life throw you lemon, you better make lemonade. You're not going to be complaining, no?
That's right.
As Brad was saying, you cannot stay there and be complaining. You see, they just did this to me. They did it to me. Hey, you better run and do something for yourself, no? Because the people you are complaining about, they might come and do more to you again, and more and more. You will just be there complaining. And you see, they just cheated me. Oh, come on, wake up.
That's right. Yes.
All right. I said before that we are passionate about African diaspora. Tell me about the community around you. I'm interested in knowing the community around you, where you are at the moment.
I live in the state of Michigan. I know, and it's a place where there's a combination of all types of people. So you have to learn how to adjust to different people, different levels. And I've always been the kind of person that I love people, and I can always learn from people. So uh, it was it was interesting you said about the community I'm in because I did dip in the water of political arena, and I realized that's not my lane. But I did thought that I can contribute and add value to my community. And I went for a city clerk in my local city here, and so. Even the incumbent said she's been there for about 20 years. She said you ran a good race to be a newcomer, but I really did the grassroots things. I knocked on about 7,000 doors, took pictures with the babies, and share my insight, what I want to do to add value to the community. How think I can increase the process of when you go to the city clerk, that it shouldn't take you 2 hours to get an answer. It should take less than 30 minutes to get what you need. But I've realized that wasn't my lane, but I learned a lot, met a lot of interesting people, and the incumbent and I were still friends now because she complimented me about how being a first timer, you came in, you rolled up your sleeves, and you kind of got the job done. You got people to know you, and you were able to add value to the community. So that was a very interesting. Talking about leadership, you had to have a vision, and then show the people where you would take them to accomplish that vision.
Thank you so much for that. Um, that is Michigan, right?
Yes.
So you say you wanted to participate in the political arena, but it didn't turn out the way you wanted it. So you let it be, right? So you can focus on some other area where you have an advantage, correct?
Yes, that is
Uh,
correct.
all right, that's really interesting. How
Yes.
did you get started in business? Tell me about the background of that.
Okay, thank you for that great question. I worked at General Motors for 30 years. I resigned, not resigned, I retired early, like I mentioned, as a HR manager. And so I had a lot of business knowledge. I was able to, as I was working full time, being a full time mother and wife, I was able to get my undergraduate degree. I was able to get my master's degree. And once I took the early retirement, I was able to go ahead and get my doctorate degree in education. So I know the value of how to, and I've learned a lot at GM. I learned how to do the accounting. I learned how to about the finances. I've learned how to do the work with people, orientation, and things like that. How to network, how to get results. And so after that, I thought to enhance my knowledge, I went on to be a certified John Maxwell uh, coach, speaker, and trainer. I don't know if you heard of John Maxwell. He's a guru of leadership, and learning a lot about how to add value to people and to let them know that a leader is not a title. A lot of people have a title of a leader, but they're not actually a leader. But it's if you impact or influence other people, you are a leader. And that's how I like to define that. That's why I wrote my book, Wake Up the Leader Within You. And I give 4 steps how you can wake up that authentic you, wake up that genuine you, wake up that leader in you, the winner in you, so that you can be the best leader you were created to be. I always say people get hung up on titles. Don't get hung up on titles. Know that you add value to someone. And if you influence or impact, let's say you impact young women, you're a mentor to them. You are a leader in that sense. So I always tell them, you may not have the title, but you have the leadership capabilities, and learn how to develop those skills so you can be a great leader.
That is powerful. In that, now, what am I getting away from there? That we don't need to look for some people that say it is your duty to be doing it. Leadership is for you people. No, it's for everybody. We are
Yes,
all leaders in our different field. The question
yes,
is, how are you leading?
yes. There you go. How are you leading? And
Yeah.
I often think of that quote. I always say, "Be the leader you want to follow." Sometimes we have my leader does this. How would you lead? Would you lead with example? And that's a good way of leading. Not so much talking about what you're going to do, but lead by that very example. If you're a person of integrity, a person of honesty, you keep your word, you follow through and follow up. that you're faithful. So that would be one of the attributes of a good leader, integrity, and so we have to make sure that uh, we want to make sure that all we can be the best leader we can be, and develop. Sometimes you have to develop those skill sets. Can you deal with not having all the information? I always say, uh, make a decision. I have this acronym called BOLD: be bold and lead. The B stands for be brave. Step out and do what you feel your gut is telling you to do. Do it scared. Is it going to be right? No, but you'll learn from that. So next time you have a better experience. The O stand for outstanding, and that speaks to your character. Are you a person of integrity? Are you a person of honesty? Because people will follow an honest leader. People will follow people who show great integrity. And so the L stands for be loyal. I call that the reciprocity principle. If you be loyal to them, trust me, your followers or your team will be loyal to you because you led that example. You show them how you're loyal to them. And then the D stands for be decisive. No one wants to follow an indecisive leader. They can't make up their mind. How would I follow them, right? So make a decision with the information you have at the time. It may not be the right one, but stand up and acknowledge that the information I had at the time was all I had, and I made a decision. Acknowledge your mistakes and go ahead. So we're going to correct this, and we're going to do it this way now. So, be brave, be outstanding with your character, be loyal, and of course, be decisive. Make a decision, make a quality decision, and people will follow you.
That's powerful. That's really powerful. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. So, GM General Motors is one of the biggest companies in the world, and also one of the most well-known company in the world. Now,
Yes.
you have been working there. Is that where you learn all this leadership and business quality? Tell me, what was your experience like there? What would you say you took away from there as your key experience, having worked and retired there? Help me with that.
Okay, sure. Great question. Thank you so much for that question. GM, like you said, is well known. And one thing about GM, they will train their employees because they wanted to present quality, not only in their cars, but also with their employees. And it was an opportunity to go to different seminars. My director allowed me to go to different training. That's how I was introduced to the John Maxwell training. I went to one of their seminars that he had. What a powerful learning experience. So they said, Mary, can you bring back what you learned at the seminar to bring back to GM? And we did some implementation for our leaders. I worked on a program called with working with executives all over the world. They would bring them to the headquarters out of the Renaissance Center, and it would be like a 2-week training. And we were there. We stayed at the hotel. We just brought in the various leaders. We even brought in John Maxwell to speak to our leaders here at GM. And so we had different people who has the expertise to make sure that our leaders were number one, top-notch leaders. And so that's what I've learned a lot about GM. GM was concerned about quality, making sure that they had the best employees, not only, like I said, on the vehicles, but as well as their employees, because we represented GM. And so I've learned a lot. I had a lot of great mentors within GM. I actually, my director, who's also retired, but she was my great mentor. She would come and I would, throw things at her, and she was able to give me my sounding board. Mary, that's a great idea. How are you going to implement it? How will the results be? So she had me to think through. It's like a critical thinking process, and that helped me to sharpen my thinking skills. So I mean, GM has been great to me, and I've been great to GM as well. I
Yeah, it's true. It's both ways.
in most ways, exactly, exactly. So yeah, what a great experience. I encourage people, if you are an employee, to learn all that you can because they offer tuition. A lot of corporations, I know with the pandemic, they might have reduced some of those benefits, but whatever they're offering, be willing to learn. Always have a mindset of willing to learn new things because once you stop learning, you stop growing. And so the more you learn, the more you grow. And then not only know what you grow, but apply what you've learned. I always say, uh, this is one of my sayings that I say too. I said, if knowledge is power, then applied knowledge is superpower.
That's powerful.
I
That's
need to put
powerful.
that. I need to put that on a little card, right?
Yeah, no. It's powerful because
Yeah,
now
it's true.
of what's use is you knowing everything without application.
Yes,
Because if you don't apply it, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't have any value to you and also to
that's
the people around you.
that's correct.
So I agree with you. That is important.
Yes.
All right. Now you were saying before, and I agree with you that all of us are leaders in our different field.
Mhm.
Yes, but the leadership we are talking about today now is not just all of us. We are talking of specific leadership. No, in this sense, we are looking at people who are able to deliver, especially in the area of business.
Mhm.
Now, where do you think people should start about learning this certain quality that made them stand out so that other people can follow them? Because leadership now is not about force. If we are in the military,
Mhm.
there is a chain of command.
Right.
If I am under a certain authority, I am bound to obey the rules. I have a leadership there that I'm going to respond to.
Mhm.
But that is not necessarily what we are talking about all the time. We are looking for leaders who the people choose to follow, not by force, but because this individual have demonstrated certain qualities that
Mhm.
made them stand out, that made others say, I will follow you. Help me
Yeah.
understand that where should we begin to learn this quality and put them in practice?
Great question. Like you said, you don't want anyone to follow you by force. You will never get the results that you want. Excuse me. But if you show to your team that you are genuine, you are authentic, and sometimes you do have to be a little charismatic. You have to enjoy people, like people. And then when you have the buy-in from the team, they know that they can trust you. They know that you are dependable, you are reliable, you are a person that I can talk to in confidence. That it won't be spread out throughout the whole corporation. They know that you will be able to sincerely give good counsel and good wisdom to them, that you care about them as an individual. So many times we look at what the job requires, but oftentimes, if your home life is havoc in a habit, that will translate into your workplace. I mean, because we're one person, right? So we can't separate. Oh, this is my work life. This is my my job life. This is my social life. Because we're one person. And so if you let them know that I care about your home life. Is everything okay? Is there anything I can do? Can I recommend some resources that will help you be more stress less, in your home? So when you care about the totality of the person as a leader, not just getting a job done and making sure we get the wanted results, but you care about them as an individual and genuinely want to help them and help them to grow. I always say, you right here at this time. That doesn't mean you're going to be there for 6 months from now or a year from now. I want to see what are your goals for a year. How can I help you make those goals? Okay, let's see. We need to work on this. We need to do this. We need to get you in a class. So knowing that you genuinely care about the individual, I think that's point number one. And then let them know that they can trust you, they buy in into what you're offering them, and that they're going to jeopardize, what they say to you. And so you just have to be down to earth. I always say if you're down to earth and true and authentic, you can reach more people like that than trying to reach them through. You're going to do what I tell you to do. Being a bully. No one likes a bully. And so you have to be genuine and you have to be sincere about that. And then they will gravitate towards you, how can you, and let them know you're available. Always have that open door policy. And so I've seen that so many times in my coaching now. And they are like middle management or upper management, and they want to, how can I get to that next level? And I said, what will you be offering? What do you have to offer? What do you have on the table that you can offer? And so I always let them see themselves, 1 year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, and how you could be a valuable and a great asset to that company. So I always want them to see themselves uh, as they want to be and help them get there. I hope
All
that
right.
answered your question.
It does. Actually, I'm reflecting on it. You
Okay.
see, we are just thinking aloud, and that is what we do here, actually.
Yes, yes,
Okay, now, Mary,
yes.
how did you know that you were going to be working within the area of leadership? When did you know this?
I knew when I was 7 years old. And I know that sounds crazy. Well, a backstory, I'm the baby of six. And my mother, when she had me, I think she was at an age, she had a lot of practice with my siblings, my five siblings. Okay. And she saw the leadership in me. She really did. She said, Mary, I see that you're very self-initiative. I was able to read at the age of 3. I got double promoted through school. I graduated when I was 16. Not that I'm saying all of that, but some parents can identify that there's something different yet about you. You have that gifting. She knew my gift, my mother and my father. And she said, you're able to instruct others, you're able to teach others. And I know even when I was in my early 20s and 25, people would gravitate to me to say, can you tell me about this or that or another? And I kept saying, do I have a sign on my forehead that said, tell me all your information? But I knew it was that gift. They were gravitating towards that gift. That I think she can help me. I think I need to hear what she has to say to me. I think there's wisdom from this young lady. So I knew at a very early age that that was in me. That was one of the gifts that I knew I had to manifest. And so of course, went to schooling, went to undergrad, went to master's, and but sometimes education doesn't always tap into that gift. You have to allow your your natural gift to come out and to improve on it. And so I've done it in the church, I've done it in the secular world, I've done it in communities, I've done it in the corporate world as well, and now in my own business. So I enjoy being used in that way.
All right. I also like that. I like the key point that you're bringing out here.
Mhm. Yes.
Be used like that. It looked like a kind of a missionary, kind of a service that you are rendering. Not,
Yeah.
you were saying before now, people uh, just look at titles. I am the president
Right.
because I am given this office.
Right.
But what are you doing with the office? What kind of service are you rendering to the people?
Mhm.
Because being called a leader is not like a military rank
Right.
where every other person under you is compared by the structure to respect you.
Mhm.
You have this sort of a noble role to lead, to help people, to be there for them. It's a responsibility. When you know you have this, let's call it a kind of inborn gift, as it were, this possibility, or if you like, responsibility of yours.
Mhm.
How did you build on that? I mean, uh, how did you make it more practical so that, okay, I'm talking of how did you refine it, no?
Mhm.
Because many people also have the same thing that you have. Many people
Right.
also know, but many never do anything about it, no?
Yeah.
Therefore, that gift of there is neither serving them nor serving the community where they live. Until you refine your own gift, it cannot serve you. It remains raw,
Right.
like gold. If you
Yeah.
take out gold in the raw state from the earth, you show it to people, it's not beautiful. It's like
Right.
every other dust until
Right.
you refine it. So that is
That's
where
right.
actually I'm going. Tell me about that refining.
Yes. And that's really requires what I call self evaluation. Sometimes people can say things to you, especially when you're young and you're open and you're vulnerable. You're not going to be anything. You're not going to, but I wasn't in that environment, but I know people that may have been in that environment. You have to really look deep within yourself and say, what can I do that I can do all the time without pay, without sleep? And so it's something that you love to do. I remember reading this book when I years ago. Do what you love, and money will follow. And it was talking about what you know you can do in your sleep, what you love. You get up in the morning like I can't wait till the day starts because I'm ready to do what I do. And I think people need to just, and it takes time to do a self evaluation, do a inventory. And I always tell my clients, list 10 of your best qualities I don't care what they are. One lady said, "Well, I'm just a good listener." I said, "It's not just a good listener. Listening is an excellent quality." And you know what you can do with being a good listener? And then we start thinking of different other options, thinking outside the box. So if you list your qualities that you have, and now is a good time, it's the end of the year, starting 2023. Before you start 2023, just do an inventory. I'm a good organizer. I'm a great speaker. I mean, and then you need to list those things and say, how can I even improve on those things that people said I'm great in, or you know that you're great in? You know, it's always that continuous improvement. In fact, on my podcast this week, I was talking about wrapping up 2022 and preparing for 2023. And I said, one of the lessons that I've learned in 2022 is that practice makes better. And I said, I know everybody heard practice makes perfect. I said, don't strive for perfection, strive for improvement. And when you do that, you won't let yourself down. So, because no one's perfect, no one's perfect, And so when I said practice makes better, and my mentor told me that too, and I tell it to other people, because you want to become a mastery in what you do. And so the more you do it, the better you do it. Don't always shoot from your hip. Don't always be ready to, wing it, because some people can do that and they can do it great. But if you want to go far, you want to be able to know what you know, say what you mean, and do it. And people will see that you're authentic and you're real, and it's more believable, and it's more acceptable. So we have to practice to make better. I mean, I do my podcast every week, like you doing your podcast. I rehearse it in my mind while I interview my different guests, and I go through. So I just enjoy practice makes better. It really does.
It's true. It's true. It's true. It's always true.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for sharing that. It's true.
Yes.
All right. Now, talking of leadership,
Hmm.
you have worked in GM. That is an important company in the US.
Yes.
Um, Tell me about the leadership that you had there that influenced you. In what particular sense would you remember them, even in what you do today? Because you spent a lot of time there until you
Hmm.
retired, even though it's an early retirement.
Yes.
I'm interested in that.
The leadership that I learned there, I took it outside of the corporation as well. Like I said, I brought it into my church. I was able to do some leadership classes for uh, the Sunday school classes and different things like that. I also did something very interesting. I knew that a lot of our um, retired people didn't have a lot of knowledge about their computer. And so I joined a company called Click, and it was a computer literacy in the community. And so she asked me to be one of the teachers. And I said, I may not know everything about computer, but I know enough to teach somebody else. And it was like a 6 weeks class. And I invited some of my family members and people in the community. And we started from the very beginning, turning on the computer. And so we took them through each step: how to use Word, how to use PowerPoint, how to do email, how to make your design your own email address. And so it was very fundamental, but it was very necessary, because those seniors walked out of there and said, I've learned so much about computer that I'm buy me my own laptop. And so they were able, and it gave my heart so much, because the leadership quality there was, are you willing to teach? Are you willing to show people the way? And that's what a leader is. I know the way, so I'm willing to show you the way, and not degrading someone because they don't know what you know, but have an open mind to say, you know what, we all started at some part at some point in our lives. You started here, and let's take you from here to where you want to get to. Doing emails, going through the social media. If you don't want to be on that, you don't have to, but at least you have knowledge about it. And so, working with people, whether they're young or old, or just people in general, you have to exercise a lot of patience. And so, I know someone was patient with me when I was learning. And so, I just have to realize it takes time, it takes caring about someone to show them that they can do it. I always say you can do all things. You just have to have your mindset to do it, and stop speaking negative. Our self talk will get us in a lot of trouble. I call it the naysayers, and it's not anybody outside of us. It's our own self critic. You can't do it. You shouldn't be able to do this. And if you cut out that nonsense talking, and that's what my other book that I wrote too, it says, power talk begins with power thoughts. what we think and what we say. It could be life that we speak, or we could speak doom and gloom. So be careful what you say to yourself, because you are listening to yourself.
And it does make a lot of impact on
Yes,
you. That is
yes,
very important. All right, now
yes.
Mary, I want us to talk about. I want us to touch something else. Of course, within this conversation just now.
Hmm. Yes,
It has to do with the community, the African diaspora community, where you are, where I am, where all of
mm,
us are. We are hundreds of millions of people. And sometimes we do have challenges, sometimes
yes.
within the area of leadership. God, this
Hmm.
also is reflected back home in Africa, where leadership is as if it's not something that is important for people to consider. But
Right.
that is actually at the center stage of how we are going to be perceived in
Yes.
this world, how we are going to
Hmm.
be able to run our systems.
Yes.
So I'm just like asking you, what role do you think leadership should play or is playing in the African diaspora community? Tell me more about that.
Okay. Great question. Leadership is crucial in that leadership of Black area, mainly because we have been told centuries ago, we can't be a leader. I even look at the sports arena where football, for example, I'm a football fan. And so how they would say that Blacks didn't have the wherewithal to be a quarterback, because that's the thinker on the team. And so we have to really just discontinue those false myths and know that we can do anything. And it starts with our young people. I know, we're responsible for that next generation. We have to and show them and let them know that they can do anything and everything they want to do. Don't let anyone put any limits on you. The only one to put limits on yourself will be yourself. So we have to make sure that we train them up and let them know and live that example before them as well, because we have great, great Black leaders. I tell you, in the political arena, in the sports arena, in all the different sectors in life. Really, if you look at our Black leaders, and we need to just learn how to encourage and support one another. If we do that, we'll be a great, great people. We really need to train up that our future leaders, which are our young people, and then continue to support those leaders that are already staying strong. Well, we're standing on somebody's shoulders now. And so we got to allow that next generation coming after us to stand on our shoulders. So we got to just be proud of what we've done and our accomplishments, and to always strive and even do more. Good enough is not enough. We need to even do more and be better.
Always in that, and always in the question of information that is coming into the
Mm-hmm.
community and into our younger generation.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think we are transferring the right information into their mind? Because I look at the human being like a computer, the way our brain work. In
Mm-hmm.
that the information that we have there, apart from the one that is the subconscious, because we're also product of evolutionary history, that is already in us. But the one that we work with most of the time is the
Mm-hmm.
information that is configured in our head from when we were children, which means that the society is responsible. And in this case, we are talking of leadership. Those who are in the position to be able to control those information sort of are responsible for the kind of future they are preparing the children for. So if this one can even be plausible to think about, do you think
Mm-hmm.
the younger generation in the African diaspora community are getting the right information they need to be able to become better leaders?
Our society has seemed like to me has dummied down the curriculum and in the school system, but it starts, I believe, with the parents, and even with that, extended families. I may not have birthed your son or someone else's son, but I'm still responsible for that child, to show them and to teach them and to help them become the best they can be. We can't depend on someone else to nurture our own. We need to start with our own, and then even the extended family. I know when I was growing up, my parents were great, but I also had those extended family. My uncle, my aunt, they were like a cheerleader, and they were encouraging us, telling us about what they've experienced and how they want better for us, and how we got to continue to have that. We can do it, and they got to be encouraged and be an example. I can't get over it. Be an example. If we be an example to our young people, they can look and say, Somebody that look just like me is a lawyer. Somebody just like me is a judge now. Somebody that look like me are doctors and running hospitals or owning hotels. So they could see that it's possible and that they can do that. I want all that next generation. I have a granddaughter and a grandson. I said, you guys got to do phenomenal things. You guys got to do great things because we are preparing you to put no limits on yourself and don't allow anyone else to put limits on you, but to go ahead and fulfill your dreams and do what you need to do to contribute to the world. Because we've done a great example of what we've created. We've done so much already, but there's yet more to be done.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Those information need to go down in the mind of
Yes.
the people because it affects them.
Yes.
Whatever we hear, we understand affects us. So it's better that we are
Mhm.
affected by positive things, so we can become positive
Yes.
people than just
Yes.
maybe roaming around absorbing all sort of information. We cannot absorb just any type of information. So
That's
thank
right.
you so much for that.
Yes.
Now let's come back to business.
Okay.
Leadership is very important in business. Um, now, um, let me put the question like this. Actually, I was actually faster than my tongue now.
Mhm.
Why should business owners consider leadership as something important for them? What role does leadership play in a business? Or what role does a good leadership play in a business?
A great question. Without a leader that knows where they want to take the team, where they want to go, where they want to take the corporation, you will be scattered around and lost. I like this African proverbs. It says, if you want to go fast, go by yourself. But if you want to go far, deep and wide, take a team with you, a qualified team. But if one has to be with a leader that knows how to get there, how we're going to maneuver, and all the strategies to take to get there. And that would allow a leader to have that ability to lead them and to show them where they're going to go. And all during that time, you're encouraging them, we can do this. We're going to reach our goal. We're going to be able to accomplish everything that we set out to do and even exceed our expectation. So a leader has the one that execute the plan. And once you do execution, and then the team will say, wow, our leader did everything that we said we were going to do. We can do even more things. So you have to, I'll use an example as my books. I have people that wrote in my anthology book, right? And they say, oh, I couldn't write. I can't write. I gave them a writing class, how you do your introduction, the middle part of it, your climax, and share your story, speak candid, very honestly. And then when they see that book in their hand, they say, wow, you said I could do it. And so I was able to show, not only tell them, but they show them that they could do that event. And I know that doesn't sound like a big thing, but someone that has something written in their heart and never taken it out, and then they were able to put it in the book and hold it in their hands and then actually sell it and encourage other people with it. That's a great accomplishment. And so I know you need leaders that can see it. That's why I say you need vision, not so much sight, because our eyes can trick us and what we hear and what we see. But if you have a vision, you have to see it before you see it. If that makes any sense, you
A
have
lot
to.
of sense.
Yes, you have to envision that thing, and then allow the strategies and the plans to make that thing to manifest and to be a reality. Because it's one thing to dream. I'm not saying about dreams. I'm talking about a vision. That's a revelation where you can be able to see that thing even before it happens. And then when it happens, it's like, yes, okay, let's go to the next one. And that's what a true leader is. A true leader, I would say, is a visionary. And they have strategies to make that vision a reality. Does it take hard work? Absolutely. Does it take critical thinking? Yes, it does. Does it take evaluating and resetting your focus? Absolutely. Concerted effort? Absolutely.
You see the way I'm just looking at you because it's so beautiful what you're saying. It makes a lot of sense, no?
Yeah.
You see, I was saying before that leadership is at the center of everything. Now, let's just pick a casual thing, for example. It's not even really casual, but actually, let me look at it this way. Let's pick a country in Africa. Let's say Nigeria, for example.
Yes.
With all the resources that is available, we are over 200 million people. We are suffering from bad leadership, and this has resulted into catastrophe. The economy is crumbled, infrastructure, the one that have been there before, nothing is functioning.
Yes.
Why? Because we don't have somebody who's able to define where we are even going.
Yes.
Now, look at a ship.
Hmm.
You load it with gasoline, with fuel, gas, whatever, and it's filled. Okay, let's use a car. Everybody know what is a car. You fill it
It,
with petrol and you
yes.
start the engine. You don't
Right.
have any destination. What do you
Uh-huh.
think is going to happen? You are going to get nowhere. So
Right.
I want to say that I really believe what you're saying, that we need leaders that have vision. But
Yes.
vision now doesn't mean just see only the hip of your nose.
Uh-uh.
You must be able to see what is 200 years from now. Now,
Right.
a critical example again. Let's look at the flying of aeroplane. At the
Hmm.
time the Wright brothers working to build aeroplane, it has
Right.
never happened before. Now, somebody said it's going to happen. We don't even understand what it means. That is what we need leadership for. In that
Yes.
you will be able to see what ordinary people cannot see.
That's
You
right.
not just seeing it, but you'll be able to also put out some strategies on
Yes.
how it can be achieved. Look at, for
Yes.
example, JF Kennedy
Hmm.
telling the American that we are going to land somebody in the
In the
moon.
moon.
Not
Hmm.
just because he want to get vote or he want to just make people laugh. They put money behind it and
Yes.
it become a reality.
Yes.
People today think that we have got it to the limit of technology. No, we are barely even starting.
Yes.
But
That's
is
true.
there somebody who can see what is not yet visible just now?
I know. Like you said, you have to have a plan. You have to have a strategy. In order to first you got to identify what it is that you want. The example that you gave, what 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 is it that they want in Nigeria? Do they want to, what is, you got to identify that. You just can't say, "Oh, it'd be great if we didn't have all this disparity." Or but you got to really be very specific. And like you said, you had to have resources to fund that vision. You had to have all of that. So I mean, it encompasses so much, but it doesn't have to be so complicated. Is what I'm saying. Because we complicate things and then we get discouraged. We won't do anything. But if you sit down, and that takes time. A lot of people don't want to take the time to really analyze what is it that we want and how are we going to get it. What does it take to make it happen. And I know it sounds so simple, and it's not, but those questions sometimes are very hard to answer because we got so many things going on. But maybe tackle one thing at a time. There may be 20 problems, but let's do, how they say, to get an elephant out of the room one bite at a time. Because if you try to do the entire thing, you get frustrated because, but if you do one project or one problem. I always say be a problem solver. Don't try to do 60 problems at once. That's what you get frustrated, right? But if you allow yourself to do one, let's do this one and see it through the end, follow through and follow in all the way to the completion, from the inception to the completion. And you say, wow, okay, now let's go to the next one. But when you try to do so many things and then frustration will set in and then nothing is accomplished. Like you said, you put the gasoline and the petroleum in the car, you have no destination or no specific place you want to go to. You're just driving around, just in a circle. So you have to be very, very specific. You have to be very, very uh, focused and very, very intentional, about what you want to do and how you want to do it. And that's a good leader. That's what a good leader would do.
It's like you jump into what I wanted to ask you.
Hmm.
In that, what really make a good leader? In that, now we're talking of leaders. We're talking of uh, people who are going to ride the ship, who are going to lead other people
Hmm.
towards a destination. Who's,
Yeah.
of course, who's going to see it. We don't, not normal, ordinary people don't see it, but you are able to say the idea, like Jeff Kennedy will say the idea of
Yeah.
the moon mission to the American people, that we are
Yes.
going to the moon.
To the moon.
Nobody have ever go. Americans have never gone to the moon before.
Right.
How do you say that idea to the people? As a leader, you must be able to do this. Otherwise, we cannot. It's not a gift. It's not like it's not a favor. You don't. Leadership is not a favor. It's a responsibility and it's a very tough one.
Yes.
So tell me, how do you define your own type of good leader? What does it mean to be a good leader? Help
Yeah.
me.
Okay, that example you gave about going to the moon, no one ever heard of that. First of all, he was thinking outside the box. And a lot of times a leader can do that. We're not going to go with the regular ordinary things, but you have to get the people to buy into your cause, if you will. And what I mean by buy in, you have to show them. Some people like to need the details. Some people may need to see the end result. But whatever it takes to get the buy, you have to have them buy in into your ideal. When he made that statement, like you said, no one's never been to the moon. Is the moon even something we can go to? But he allowed the astronauts to do the research on that. And he was able to show that we can do that, the gravity and all of that. But he did he had the people to buy in into his thought of we go send the first man to the moon. And so even with the leader, it doesn't have to be that major task like that, but it may be something they never experienced before. They never done it before. So if you let them know that, look, if we do this, this is going to be the end results. We're going to have a return on our investment or whatever it is. You have to tell the team, the people who's going to make this thing a reality, because the leader will be there to do it as well. But they need someone that's going to join forces with the leader and say, yes, we can do that. And so when you have them to buy into it's got to be believable. It's got to be something that they could say, I don't see it all. I don't understand it all, but I trust what you're telling me that we can do this. And that takes a lot of charisma. That takes a lot of doing your research so you can present it to the people so they can buy into it. It's a buy. You have to have them buy into that thought before they follow you. If not, you just be taking a walk by yourself.
That's true. That's true. That's true. All right, now I'm going to pull your leg a little bit.
Okay.
Um, I know that you are coming from a very solid company. And so, of course, when I say, give me an example of a good leader, I'm not like say what is not expected. No? So that is what I'm going to ask you now. Because I did make mention of JF Kennedy and his, how he treated the mission to the moon.
Hmm.
So tell me, who is your good example of a good leader? Somebody who can say, okay, this is somebody that have inspired me. This is somebody we should look up to. It can be somebody of the present time or even in the past. Give me some name, please, and
Okay,
why.
sure. Uh, Great question. Great question. I've been asked that before, and I usually have several. First would be my mother. She was a great leader. I mean, so much wisdom that she gave to me and the rest of my siblings. But beyond that mother wisdom, I would say that Martin Luther King has been such a great leader for me. I saw how he was able to gather the people and to let them know that we're not going to submit to being second class citizens. We are just, I mean, he stood brave, he stood tall. And not only did he say what he wanted the followers to do, he actually participated in the protest and was, watered down in the dogs and going to jail. So a leader not only say, do what I've asked you to do, because this is going to be the results I need. I will participate. I will join hand with you, join forces with you. So he was an excellent, excellent leader. I tell you, he really showed us how to roll up your sleeves and get in the grind with the followers, get in grind with the tribe, get in grind with your team, and do the leader wants to do, and what the leader wanted them to do. So he's my number one. Always been that. I love his speech. Um, I have a dream, and so I just love him and I admire him always. I remember I was in high school. They asked us to write one of the person that we admired, and he was my person. I did a lot of research on him, and I love him dearly for that. And then, of course, more currently, I will say that John Maxwell is a guru. When I read the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, it just changed my life. It really did. And then I was able to see how you step out of your comfort zone and take on the role as a leader, that you'll be able to impact and influence other folks' lives. First of all, my own life, right? I'm able to do things that I didn't think I could do. I've been told, oh, you can't do that. That's too big for you. We never done that before. And I said, okay, I don't quarrel with people. I don't dispute with people. I just know what I have to do. And so then I was able to do that for myself. And then others say, you know, how can you help show me how to do that? So I knew that you have to be, first, you have to lead yourself well. You really have to. You wouldn't follow someone, say, I can show you how you can invest your money, and that person filed bankruptcy 5 times. That's not a good example, right? So if I'm leading myself well and they see the results of that, not that they just look at my life to see that, she leads herself well. Maybe she can help me with what I need to do. And so you got to lead yourself well in order to lead other people. And so, and it's a responsibility. Don't think, oh, because people following me. And that has nothing to do with them. What are you leading them to? And are you giving them all that they need? Are you let them know they can live their full potential, that they could be able to do things? And so it makes my heart happy when I see people that I at one time coach or mentor. And now I'm looking at them saying, wow, you can even do more. That's just the tip of the iceberg. So do what you've been called to do, and do it well. And so it's like I'm a proud mother, or proud parent saying, wow, I knew you could do it, but I know that you can do it. And so that's truly, you just have to lead yourself well. And that's what Martin Luther King did. He lead himself well. He knew what he had to do. He said, nobody else is not going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to stand in this line. I'm going to not leave the cafeteria where they said I can't eat there. And my money's green, just like everybody else's money. So we have to lead ourselves well in order to lead others. And that's what a true sign of a leader. Like I said, John Maxwell as well. And of course, my mother, she's gone on now, but her influence still influenced me. And so I know she gave me the foundation. And so I'm able to even teach my daughters and my grandchildren as well.
Thank you so much for that. All right, you didn't make mention of your books, because I think you have written more than once.
Yes.
Can you maybe touch on maybe what is the central message of your writing? I mean, is there something that you want to communicate to people, and how can people find these books of yours?
Okay, thank you for that. My first book, and it is on Amazon, #1 bestseller. It's called Power Talk Begins with Power Thoughts. And that's basically a self-talk to victory. We do talk to ourselves, make sure we're saying the right things to ourselves. And you can find that on Amazon.com and also on my website, SegarsConsultGroup.com. You could purchase it from both Amazon and from my website. My second book that I wrote is called Wake Up the Leader Within You. And that's the one where I'm saying we got to stop sleepwalking in life, and get busy about living your life. And so that's that book. And then my anthologies, where I allowed other authors to write their story. The first one is called Finish Strong. And the tagline is, it doesn't matter how you start. What matters that you finish strong. And that is, of course, on Amazon. All these books are on Amazon as well. The next one is Destined to Win. Despite struggles and disappointment, I am still destined to win. And I had 17 authors write their stories in that book. And then my most two recent one is called Unlock Your Hidden Treasure. It's time to shine. And, we just gone through, we're still kind of in the pandemic, but the 20 and 21 was a year we were on lockdown and we didn't have much to shine about. And so that book was released in February 2022, and it's time to shine. And we had a book launch, a live book launch. It was a phenomenal event. And then the sequel to that book is Release Your Hidden Treasure. It's time to shine. So sometimes we unlock it, our gift, and now it's time to release it and go forth and demonstrate your gifts and your powers to the world, because you're holding up someone when you hold off on doing your purpose and walking in your anointing. So thank you for that. Those books are all on Amazon.
Thank you so much for that. Now, say maybe people want to connect with you. Which is the best way to reach you, to connect with you? Maybe they want to do business with you or things like that. Please let me understand that.
Sure. They can reach me on LinkedIn, and it's under Dr. Mary Segars, LinkedIn. That's a good way to connect with me. I'm also on Facebook with that same name, Dr. Mary Segars. And of course, my website is www.segarsconsultgroup.com. And all my information there, my coaching information, my publishing information, as well as anything else that you need to reach me. And my podcasts are also listed on my website, my weekly podcast, Wisdom Wednesday podcast with Dr. Mary Segars.
All right. Absolutely interesting. Now, what would be your final thought here, considering what we have discussed today? Maybe a message or what you want to leave the people with. Please go ahead and do that.
Thank you for this opportunity to share my thoughts about leadership. I want you to remember that a leader is not a title. A leader, a true leader, is one that impact and influence other people. And so I know you have something to offer to the world. So allow your leadership qualities and abilities to come out, to be a mentor, or maybe to share some information that you have with others. And truly that will impact and influence someone else. So be it the best leader you can be. And always remember, you are.
I appreciate it. It has been a pleasure talking with you and learning from you.
Thank you so much. I need to have you on my podcast too. We're connected on LinkedIn. I'll shoot a note out to you.
Definitely. I'll be happy to be there.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. It's been a pleasure here.
If you enjoy this podcast, make sure you subscribe so you never miss any of our future episodes. Rate and review Obehi Podcast and share with your friends who might need it. I remain Obehi Ewanfo. Thank you so much for listening and talk to you in the next episode.